Yo, you're on the VoskCoin mining farm. I am Vosk, and we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff today. I'm kind of doing my own thing, leading projects that I need to work on over here, including working on these immersion dry coolers from Bixbit. There is a setting that's not working properly on these that puts my miners in danger of, catastrophic danger. So I'm working on making sure that that is never an issue again. By utilizing what's called last speed, which basically means that no matter what happens, the dry cooler should keep working if the system's on, never leaving my miners hanging, where they will basically just proceed to bake themselves, which we did have that failure over the last week. Scary, devastating. Thankfully, their fail-safes protected them and no permanent damage occurred. So if you're new to the channel, I've been turning this shed into a big immersion mining shed. I recently balanced the electrical panels, and we kind of tidied up all the connections so we have no loose wire anywhere. Granted, it was safe, it was capped, right? We threw up a couple more meter boxes so we can get good reads on 120 volt as well as 240 voltage out here, because we're still in single phase, working towards 3-phase one day, someday, hopefully sooner than later. We've got the BitPod DCX2 miner deployed, we've got the DCX8 miner deployed, we've got the fog hashing B6D6 miner deployed, we've got the fog hashing C2 deployed, right, and we've got the Bixbit 6 miner and Tube 3 miner deployed there as well, and I'm actively working on upgrading that to a 3 miner from the original 2 miner that it was spec'd out to be. I've spent a lot of time just trying to get things cleaned up in here, right? We got PDUs on the wall, spare parts starting to go on the wall, taking the extra time and effort to cut in things like this where we have these DROC meters and they give us real-time readouts, right, of the power usage. So this system, right, and these guys are just in here mining away. They get a real-time read of how much power they're using. I've also siphoned some fluid out of this. You'll notice the fluid level is a little bit lower in the middle. It's gotten hotter, so the fluid's expanded, so it's a little bit off from where I wanted it to be, or I said it previously. And this one's still doing good, looking good. This is a very kind of simple, pretty foolproof setup on the C2 miner, C2 fog hashing unit. The fluid was removed from the BitPod and previously from the DCX. It's a little bit more tricky than you think to level all these out. Removed fluid from the big boy as well. And once I dunk the 3rd miner, I may need to remove some fluid from that thing. So I'm kind of doing like the finishing touches on all this, especially as I kind of know everything that's going on. We actually have BMA on site right now. We got Colby, Dennis, and Alexa. They're doing wire management and the digital Shovel MiniPod M300. She's kind of working on her own thing, so watch out for her video on all that stuff. I am focused on trying to get everything tidied up in here. You'll notice, and once again, it looks like a freaking bomb went off in this place. But I've got the final pieces I need. I have an intake louver to get some airflow flowing through this thing. And I've got an exhaust fan down here as well that will fit between studs. So I'm actually going to reuse this hole up here. I will have to cut it to be a little bit wider. And then my intake fan grill should fit exactly between my 2x4s, which 16 on center, right? So it should just slide right in, and then I'll throw some silicone caulk around these, and should be pretty done. One of my hanging to-do list items also has been caulking the holes I put in for the DCX BitPod, the C2, and also the Bixbit. So it's been very go out here on the VoskCoin mining farm, but the market's been pumping. It's what you want and hope for, but it's a matter of like, are you ready for it? I'd say kind of like maybe barely. Either way, it's a fun and exciting time. And for me, I've had so many big projects open in tandem, and it just really becomes stressful. And so one thing I'm very excited about is kind of closing out the immersion mining shed as a project, because I have a 400 amp electrical panel and I'm using almost all the juice. Once I put my last miner in, I am using about 80% of my panel, which is kind of where I should stay. I can maybe push it a little bit here or there, but I want to make sure this thing's stable, and I don't need to be tripping main breakers, and I need to plan for when it's really hot in the summer, and all these systems are going to be consuming more electricity because they're going to be working harder to stay cooler. So that's kind of where my head's at. I need to move the shelf, but you can see that put a couple more meters over there, ran a couple circuits, and I mean, it was a tedious thing. You can see here I have pictures where we took a meter to our mains on the panel, and you know, I see we have a lot of usage on panel B and not as much on panel A, and so we work to rectify that. So, you know, the things that aren't fun, they're not flashy, it's just straight work, but it's very important. It's very important out here. There's close to $100 million in newly mined coins per day right now. That's a huge market. I mean, that's $1 billion industry. That is so much passive income to go after, or active income, depending how involved you want to be with it all. And it's not something I want to miss out on. But enough talking, right? Let's get to work.
Want to get into mining but don't have the time or space for your own mining farm? Check out Revolution Mining. Revolution Mining offers Bitcoin and Kaspa miner hosting, and they're currently running a bundle sale where you can purchase and host 3 miners at a discounted rate. They're currently offering S21s, KS3Ms, and KS5 Pros with this special. The miners will be hosted in the US at their Texas facility, and at current prices are making $21, $48, and $167 each per day before the hosting fee. To learn more, check out the link in the video description below. Thank you to Revolution Mining for sponsoring this video.
Alright, it probably makes more sense to drill out the corners and use a jigsaw and run 4 straight lines. This thing fits pretty close to in between the 2x4s over there in the corner. I'm also not getting a lot of room to operate. So I'm going to try to use a multi-tool. I've never really used a multi-tool outside of like cutting in an outlet in drywall or expanding it. They're actually really handy if you ever want to put the meter boxes in and you want to, you know, do a little precise bump out to get that box in the wall. Okay, here we go. Alright, not my finest hour, or necessarily my finest work. Should have went for smaller screws. Either way, good enough. Intake vent, at least number 1. We're going to start with 1. Installed, good enough. This alone actually would dramatically improve the airflow because there's only 1 inlet on the whole shed, because I had the company take out the originally second piece from the beginning, but something like that doesn't move very much air. I'm gonna spray paint this AC Infinity fan, which I believe is a 10-inch fan. So I'm gonna enlarge that hole, and it's gonna go there.
It's gonna go there?
Yeah, everything's white here. You know, in my old age, my silver years, I'm an aesthetic guy. It's not about function anymore, it's about form. And It's black, and I actually love the way it looks. I think it looks sweet and sleek, but everything on the shed is white, except for these guys. That felt good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, a lot of work today. Hot too. Nice. A little too hot. So, back with our, should be that's all dusty in here. Handy dandy starter kit, Sawzall, right, and got the intake vent cut in. I have filters at the house that I did not bring over. So I'll come back and do that. Punch this out. Hate to say it, oddly satisfying. Smallest I could get was this 10-inch AC Infinity off Amazon. So, I mean, pretty simple game plan. I'm just gonna cut an inch in on all sides. Was a lot of work with this crappy starter tool, and just a lot of work to do it that way. And I thought it would be pretty quick. I pushed back against getting my safety glasses for like 80% of the cut. Got so much sawdust in my eyes. All right, I'm trying to pivot to be a food vlogger. Pizza party with the boys and Alexa. Dennis. Nobody makes pizza like Mama's.
No, baby, that looks good.
We're back. All right. You think it still looks good out there?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the smallest one they make. Yeah, this is 10 inch.
Drew, do you want to turn the camera off?
Yeah.
That's the pin.
Third pin? Fourth pin? Doing it. Another thing we're working on today, right, is the Ethernet, wire management, and the pod, everything. But 3 of the 4 motors on the Digital Shovel MiniPod M300 need to be replaced. Thankfully, Digital Shovel sent us replacements to do that, and we are actively working on that. Actually, Colby is spearheading this initiative. This is top secret. Top secret. We're breaking the law over here.
Hey, don't look at this right now.
Yeah, don't look at this. What are you doing? Yeah, so everything's going great. Smooth sailing here. The VoskCoin mining farm. All right. Alexa, tell me what we're doing. What are we doing over here?
We're making Ethernet cables.
Wow. How do we make one?
So we have this Ethernet cable thing.
Nice.
So
Ethernet cable thing. Nice. 1,000 foot of Cat 6.
what you do is you strip the end of it,
Makes
and
sense.
then you get part of this fuzzy part out. You clip that. That's just what they use to wire it. And then Drew got these no crosstalk cables, which is making it significantly harder to make custom Ethernet.
Yeah, but we don't want them talking to each other.
Well, I don't know if that was a real concern to begin with, but
Oh, the subreddit for networking told me it was.
I believe Dennis and Colby. So we have
Let me know in the comments who's right.
You cut off that part that's used to wire it. You cut cut off the cross-talking piece in the middle, and then we straighten all of these out, and then we go white, orange, orange, white, green, blue, white, blue, green, white, brown, brown, and then
Let's go. Double thumbs up.
I'm so proud.
I was reading it on the
Oh. Rugged. So are we doing A or are we doing B?
B,
Why are we doing B?
because
Nice.
Yes.
Nice one. Nice.
so
Wow.
then we thread it through
Because.
one of these.
Okay.
And then we also have these. We're using color-coded hoods.
So a little RJ45 action.
Yep. And these are going to go on the top row because they're red. We thread it through the 8P, and then we cut it on the ends, and then that's how you make an Ethernet cable. So
How many have you made?
We're still on one.
Okay. All those bastards on Reddit said that after we got warmed up, it'd be like 5 minutes of cable. So we'll see if that's true. This looks like some kind of tool to check if it's working correctly. This piece of shit didn't come with batteries.
I got one.
Just one.
No, I've got one of those with batteries in it.
I have just one battery. Ethernet and power. It's just that easy, man. You just plug them in. Right? Passive income?
Passive income.
Plug in Ethernet, plug in power, easy. So I'm hitting menu, going to parameters, I'm going to default functions, and I'm going to 3002. Edit. Fault is exactly why my Bixbit cell, got super hot and tripped itself based on the heat. Thankfully, before any miners were damaged, but they got extremely hot in this process. By going to this, we can set it to last speed. And if it has a communication error, right, then it should stick to the last speed. So right now, it's at 18%, and let's pull it off. See what happens. Still seems to be running. When I did that previously, it would fault out and stop. The fan is still running. This is critical because it's that exact issue that led to a terrifying failure. Cool, good, getting the readout and information that we want. I really wish these had the same VFD because I like this VFD a lot better. What's Kobe doing here?
Come to grab a 14mm wrench.
But they use a different VFD for this, so I'm going to need to figure out how to do all these things within this VFD as well, and you just don't get as good and as much information in one simple screenshot, easy to read dashboard. I should have recorded myself pulling this, but I mean, all I did was just pull it out, and the dry cooler shut off. So if there's some kind of issue, right, this fails for whatever reason, and now we see F0010 should be like, fault 10 or whatever. So we exit that and it clicks back on. So I need to figure out how, it's probably parameter, so I need to figure out what parameter I could set the last fan setting to mean that if this fails for whatever reason or whatever, that the dry cooler will hopefully still keep spinning and working. Haven't been able to get any sort of answer on this, but thinking backwards, because this one is just so helpful, I'm serious, that's not sarcasm. I go back into this and look at the way I set the last speed and notice the 3 on that, and so I'm thinking that this is just a condensed version of this. So let's select 3, right? And so I've hit enter. That means it's been selected, so we can exit out. We're back here on the home page, or whatever you want to call it. Let's pull it, and it's not dropping. This is good. This is what we wanted. System's still running. All right, because I got the piece. I got the piece. So I've also been dealing with a leak here a leak here, and a leak here. And I think the freaking squirrels are just taking this thing for a joyride. They've even completely ripped it here. But I'm wondering if they wiggled this one loose in particular, because that one was not leaking for a while. But key takeaway is that today, when I checked this morning, after applying more of this JB Marine Mold yesterday, none of these connections are leaking. This one hasn't been messed with. It's also not leaking. I do kind of wonder if I should just weld it at this point, but I'm also in the camp of like, if it's working, just leave it alone. But you know, as I kind of talked and explained all that, that's still running. So, cool, very good. Another thing on my to-do list, complete, and got to plug back in, and it's running away. So the belt shredded on the digital shovel. We'll try it and we grabbed one that's the same size from Tractor Supply, but it's too tight for whatever reason. So 2 fans restored with new motors, 3rd fan motor swapped, belt shredded, replacement didn't work, and that's probably where it's going to close out over there for the day. Exhaust fan cut into the immersion shed. This was a critical upgrade that we needed. Hot day today. We see the intake vent over here, installed. No caulk anywhere yet, still. Maybe one day. I'm kidding, it needs that pretty soon. Still need to cut this board. So I'm just gonna leave that board. I really thought today was gonna be the last day working on a lot of these projects. But you'll notice I may be developing a sunburn, my lips are chapped. Been out here, I don't know, for 8 hours? 8 hours now. Got a lot done, still a lot to do. So, oh yeah, baby, exhaust fan. Cut that in, again, need to tidy it up a little bit. Got the smart controller mounted on the wall, which I think is a really cool thing. I got the temperature sensor out there higher, and I'm gonna put it even higher than it is now. That's just a good enough for now fix. Make sure that I got all the miners back online, everything's hashing. And it's crazy, I mean, we're pulling a lot of juice on a lot of different systems. You can see 73 amps mining right there, 27 amps mining, about 30 amps mining over there. All right, we got 78, 6 something, 75 plus between these two things. I'm totally fried right now. A bunch of 20 amps or so across all these, and you're kind of getting the point. 16 amps, another like 20 something amps on those two guys. So yeah, I mean this is immersion mining, right? So you see all these miners in fluid. This lets them run in a clean environment. It allows for overclocking if you would like to do that beyond what's normally possible with air cooling. I've got the intake vent cut in down here. So I wish that I had done these things in the beginning, but I didn't. So whatever, right? Can't go back and blah blah blah, redo all these things. This is my power supply army. Okay. It's been great working with Altair, getting spare parts in, spare control boards, spare power supplies, these nifty mining PDUs that you see mounted on the wall, right? These are Altair mining PDUs, and shameless plug, punch in the code VoskCoin, save some coin, support yourself, support us. It reduces the price, you get close to like $100 shipped. That's pretty cool. It's significantly nicer in here with the airflow, and everything is still kind of heat soaked, so it'll take some time for this temperature to drop down. That 10-inch fan up there is on max speed. I think that honestly, I think it's going to be barely enough, to be frank. I think it's going to be barely enough. Based on electrical estimates that I fumbled through, I need to dissipate essentially the heat of like 1 to 2 miners in here. This fan with just that intake vent should get me close. I'm gonna put a filter on this. I already got one. Again, I just left it at the house, but it's good airflow. I'm happy with it. We got a lot of gear running. I mean, look at all these dry coolers, right? Big one, smaller one, even smaller one. Then we got these boys, and then we got these guys over here. And cutting this in went pretty smooth, pretty easy. I definitely yeeted the drill, scratched the louver there at the end, which really pissed me off. And I tightened that one down there on the bottom right a little bit too much, but whatever. That's good enough. Better than my caulk job over there. I didn't get around to caulking these yet again. I'm telling you, it's coming soon. But pretty cool, right? I mean, we got Ethernet pulled into the Immersion Shed from VoskCoin HQ or field building over there. It actually leapfrogs, goes to the pod, to the Immersion Shed, and then to the DIY data center hard drive mining shed. So definitely been staying busy with all this stuff. Gang all wrapped up and headed out. And really exciting getting 2 of these fans restored. Frustrating that the belt was shredded and so the 4th one cannot be restored. But to go up from 1 fan to 3 fans is great, right? I mean, it's significantly higher cooling capacity, as well as, you know, if 1 fan goes down, we're still going to be able to get by. I really need a minimum of 2 fans to run ideal in the summer here, based on rough calculations. I can get by with 1, but the miners start working harder, and that means that they have an efficiency loss. When miners are running and they're really hot, right, their hash rate's going to end up decreasing. Their power draw is increasing, right, because they're working harder to perform the same functions. The fans will also end up spinning, you know, full speed on these things. So, you know, you think, oh, I don't want to spend another 800 watts running an exhaust fan, but you may lose that by not running that exhaust fan, if not even more, and you'll have a hash rate loss, and it's a bit more wear and tear on your miners, right? I mean, ideally, it's like they run in a pretty cool and clean environment their whole life, and you get whatever the max lifespan for them is going to be. Most damage and wear and tear is happening when they're very hot. I really thought it was one good work day away from being done with so much stuff, and yet it looks like a freaking bomb went off in here again. Still need to vacuum over here. Oh, this stuff to clean up, but I'm close. I really am close. It just doesn't really look like it in a way and feel like it sometimes. Really thankful for Dennis and Colby from BMA coming out, hanging out, helping us, letting me throw a pizza party. It's funny, this door closes on its own now. It didn't used to do that because of the suction, because of the airflow of this thing. I am happy, random note, right, that I painted it. I think the black looked freaking awesome, but my shed's on a light theme, even though I'm a dark theme guy. So I don't think you really notice that the innards are black, because it just kind of looks like it's dark. You're gazing into the abyss, but for how long? But what you do see are the white louvers. That's cool. That's fine. And I wonder if that will help a little bit for my camera over there. The airflow running over it to keep it cooler and especially drier. Not the biggest deal, but you know, random notes, right? Random notes. All right, so just caulk this up. I know. Your boy won't be flipping houses anytime soon with caulk jobs like this. Yeah, that's for sure. But sealed it up, maybe a little excessively, but I'm an airtight kind of guy. Got my 14 by 14 by 1 air filter right here. I'm just gonna let this caulk dry for a day, and then I'm gonna come back, and I just cut these 2x4s. So I've got one for up top and one below. and they're just gonna give me bracing, right? Because when this sits there, there's so much airflow, even from this little fan. The filter's going, and that's no good. So this bracing will support the top and bottom. It'll keep the filter where I want it. And then I can just grab the middle, slide it out, put the new one in as I need to. Be curious to see how often I have to change this. I'm planning, worst case, monthly, right? I definitely want to keep this environment clean, but I'm hoping I change this thing bi-monthly or even quarterly. But we'll definitely just have to see how it all looks. Other than that, just kind of going around and sealing these holes from the outside. I may come in and plug the inside as well as a double precautionary measure, but you can see some of the caulk in there. So just trying to get this thing sealed up, airtight, watertight, whatever. Always stuff to do. It's a lot of work. I mean, before you know it, hour's gone, 2 hours gone, you run out of caulk. I already used the whole freaking tube, and I gotta go get some more. Checked on the pool. All the gear is back online. Check out the video on the wire management Ethernet party. Didn't quite get wrapped up like we wanted it to, but made some progress. And progress is always good. You know, as long as we can take steps forward out here on the VoskCoin farm, I'm cool with it. I'm about it. You also notice this trench. Another step forward. A little bit of digging. A lot of digging. This clay dirt down here in dirty South Virginia. This dirt is not fun to dig. But the good news is, again, we're one step closer to the next expansion. And it's going to be a pretty exciting deployment out here on the VoskCoin farm. We're going to be pulling from this electric service. It's going to give us the juice that we need for this. And that's going to be probably essentially more or less close enough to the final phase of this phase of the VoskCoin mining farm. I hope this video wasn't a bit too all over the place. Hope it wasn't boring. It was pretty difficult, pretty action-packed. Another day of just go, 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 go. You know, it's funny, like, you know, motherfuckers think I got all this free time just because they think I just turn a camera on and I run the VoskCoin YouTube channel and that's it. But VoskCoin, the content creation is a incredible time sink and just beast to deal with and manage and try to push forward, always trying to raise our bar, do more, do better, right? But the VoskCoin mining farm is growing. It's getting bigger. It's big. It's becoming more and more involved, and it's a lot of work out here. It's I mean, I've been running non-stop through the bear market. I thought I was going to ease off the gas at least like a little bit. No, I've had a more difficult time in the previous cryptocurrency bear market compared to the 2021 crypto bull run, as we try to just, you know, do more, do better. So on that note, I'm gonna clock out. I'm hungry. More importantly, I missed my number one. I got 2 number ones. Don't get upset, Alexa. But you know I'm talking about Tails, the venerable Doshi Woshi. 10 seconds of Tails in every video. She's freaking awesome. She kickstarted VoskCoin in more ways than one. And she's our CMO. That's our Chief Mining Officer. And I need some chapstick. And I need some lotion. I think I'm sunburnt. And we've been hanging out too long today. So, I'll see you later. Hope you like the content. Let me know any questions you have and what you want us to cover next year on VoskCoin down in the comments below. And if you're somehow here and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It means a lot to us. Later. Oh yeah, new merch drop coming soon. I need to get a freaking spare day. Alright, goodbye. What are you coming home with me? What are you still doing here?